Well, there are a few big races here in the Buckeye State tonight, one of which is the Senate race for Rob Portman's seat. That race is also gaining national attention. So we brought in NBC News political director and host of Meet the Press, Chuck Todd. Chuck, thank you so much for joining us this evening. What does this race look like on the national stage?
Well, it's interesting in this respect. I think that no candidate has run a better campaign, Democrat or Republican, in the country than Tim Ryan. But, you know, and I've said this before, a lot of times the winning campaign doesn't always win the election. There's a difference. You can run the better campaign. You can win the campaign and still lose the election, maybe because of demographics, maybe because of national environment. Why do I bring those two things up? Because welcome to potentially Tim Ryan's nightmare in the Ohio Senate race. He's done everything he could do. He has not gotten much of an assist from the national party, either in help or in fixing some of the problems the party's perception of the party has with independent voters. And then you have Ohio, a state that, you know, only 10 years ago was as swingy as they came in the country. And now it's a state that appears to be trending towards a Republican. So, you know, a lot of observers are watching tonight to see, here's Tim Ryan, ran almost a perfect race. What if he still loses by the same amount that Joe Biden lost the state in 2020? It's going to send the message to Democrats that it's an unwinnable state. You can do everything you can, and you're still going to come up short. That would not bode well. A result like that would not bode well for a senator like Sherrod Brown. Now, if Tim Ryan loses by less than 5 or pulls the upset, then I think it's a reminder that, you know, a good campaign can overcome a tough political environment. So it's what we're all watching for in this race because, like I said, I've watched every race in the country statewide. Nobody's run a better campaign than Tim Ryan, and he still may lose.
All right, so let's talk about Democrats v. Republicans on that national stage. You know, how are both camps feeling going into tonight's counts?
Well, I think Republicans are giddy and bullish, and Democrats are nervous, but not yet, I'd say, not yet sullen, if you will. I think there's sort of two competing forces that are driving this election, and I think the results are going to tell us which force prevails. Force number one is the power of the economy, the power of having one-party control in Washington, and how voters, you know, we may think we live in extraordinary times, unusual times, but the voters may be acting quite normally, which is bad economy, they're unhappy, they punish the party in power. And if that's the case, and it overwhelms almost every Democrat in every swing state, then we'll say, boy, that's something we've seen before. That's what happened to Barack Obama in 2010 or Bill Clinton in 1994. But then there's polarization, which is, you know, where everybody is just always wearing their red and blue jersey when they get to the polls. And, you know, polarization prevented the Democrats from having a bigger night in 2018. They did really well in the House, but they came up short in some major statewide races. And if that's what we see tonight, where Democratic turnout is on par with Republican turnout and all they lose are the independents, well, then maybe Democrats hang on in some of these places. They don't lose as many House seats as they thought. And it's a reminder of just how polarization can sort of prevent huge shifts. It doesn't mean small shifts don't have huge consequences, but it could be that polarization is a sort of wave preventer, if you will.
It harkens back to Tim Russert, the whiteboard, and Ohio, Ohio, Ohio in the old days. So certainly we hope our Ohioans are getting out to vote with less than 3 hours to go, just about 2.5 hours to go. Chuck Todd joining us this afternoon. Thanks so much, Mr. Todd. Best of luck in the coverage starting tonight.
You got it.